Yo, hello. We are here. We are like actually right on time for what I put on the schedule. That's pretty amazing. Huber is looking at that PC game show list that Gabby put together.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gabby.
Yeah.
We are here for night 2 of our show floor, hands-on, eyes-on impressions, depending on the game, from Summer Game Fest. Some of these are things that we saw earlier and couldn't talk about yet, but most of them we saw today. And we're going to start it off with the last thing Damiani and I saw.
Thought you were going to say The Last of Us.
I thought so for a second too.
Okay, nice.
That crazy new Atlus game, Metaphor ReFantazio.
Goaty watch.
Goaty watch.
Yes.
Watch, baby.
It is.
Yeah. So Damiani played for about an hour. I was trying to take what notes I could. I was finding the B-roll. It had a lot of B-roll, so we just had to like pick a couple.
Oh yeah.
I think they probably had enough B-roll to
It was
cover
a
like the
long
whole
demo.
freaking demo.
It was
Yeah.
a long demo. We didn't finish it either. So
Yeah. They basically had 3 demos.
Three. It
They
was
had
like
a very beginning of the game part, and then like a dungeon part, and then they had like a later part where it was supposed to be a boss thing, but by the time we got to it, like the person that was like supposed to be monitoring the demo had gone, or I don't know, but they were not around, and so we didn't know what to do. But we did get to wander around that little base for a little bit. So I think that was kind of a highlight unintentionally.
yeah. It was
see the
interesting to
base.
see how that worked out because they'd shown a little bit in the trailers, but yeah, I was a little disappointed because they said the boss fight was like challenging. And they said, it'd be
But they
fun.
say they
You
were
wanted to
challenging,
test
but
your
they were
might.
also like, you can do it. Like people, people were
Yeah.
beating
Well,
it.
that's the thing. I don't know if in that part they gave you like so many healing things like we had in the in the dungeon. Because once I saw my hand, I'm like, oh, this is like gonna be not like we'll be fine. Although did get close to dying at one point because the combat system, we don't like just a basic thing real quick. Like you'll notice a lot of similar tropes to Persona in terms of like how like the flow of the combat, but it's also unique. One of the things that returns is that if you are hit by something that is like you're weak to, say resist, weak, and then normal, and if you get hit by something that's weak or you deal damage that makes the enemy weak, you get a follow up again.
Nice.
So there's one enemy kept hitting one of my characters with a weak and then did an AoE follow-up that was just wrecking me.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was like a highlight. Just wanted to call that out before we get too into depth into anything for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, one of the things I thought was interesting is that like they just kept calling you like traveling boy. Like your character never had a
nameless.
name. Like even when we got to the later.
Well,
parts
that's
of the demo.
also like a Persona trope because you name your character, but like in the game officially they have no official name, but in other media they do have an official name, which is kind of like weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the thing they've been doing. I guess it's not weird. They've established it's what they're doing. So I'm guessing they're doing the same thing here. So if there's ever an anime adaptation or whatever, they will give this character an official name.
Yeah.
But
and you also have
same
a
trope.
fairy companion.
Yeah.
Who definitely reminded me of
Gallica,
Morgana.
Yeah, her name was Gallica.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. At first, because the silhouettes are all the same size, I thought it was just another person in the room, and then I'm like, oh, it's the fairy. I was like, who are they talking to?
Yeah.
Which is a thing because early on in the tutorial, like the beginning of the game, you are the only one who knows you have like you're keeping the fairy a secret for some reason, and it's kind of like an introduction to the dynamics of like maybe what's going on in the world. Like some people like have to like maybe stay hidden, or there's tensions between these people who are like non-humans and humans, and calling enemies humans and
that's a really weird quirk about this is that like the freaky monsters are called humans.
Yeah. The freaks are called humans.
Yeah. And then all the other characters are just like different types of like fantasy tribes or whatever. But she was talking about like the prejudice. Like you start the demo with this like long bedtime conversation about prejudice in this world. And she was saying that like, some people are like faulting the quote-unquote lesser tribes for the presence of the humans.
And you'll see that in here. You get blamed. You're trying to like help some soldiers later on. They like blame you. They call you out like, no, you're responsible for this. Like, we don't want your help, and like you're the ones who
Jeez.
brought this misery upon us. So
Yeah, because you're a commoner.
yeah, they definitely have this, but it's funny because from their perspective, this is normal reality. There's a fairy tale part where you're reading part of the book, the
he's
main
got a
character's
novel.
like,
Yeah.
little novel. And it's telling like modern times, like a city. It's showing like a city.
Yeah.
It's like here's a fantasy world where like people don't have to worry about monsters and like
There's no magic. There's
no
no
magic.
tribal
It's
conflict.
so, like,
Everyone's equal.
So they're, like,
There's
saying our-
buildings of glass going to the side, but it's all like built on labor and engineering and
it was
very idealized version of our world.
the fairies like, oh, I guess there are no fairies there. I guess with less types of people, there's less like disagreements and people get along better. I was like, oh, that commentary.
Excellent.
Like
And,
a
Persona
stinger.
always has such great commentary, so it's like
So they're on point with that. Very stylish. Like all the UI elements, the menus. We'd seen a lot of this in the trailer. Seeing it in action, it was very responsive, very fluid. Very, very, very good aesthetic going here.
You got a good look at that map.
Oh yeah, they have a cool world map that
It really looks like it's got like the
big.
detail, like you're seeing like the individual bits of canvas and stuff.
Yeah.
Like a really nice texture when you zoom in.
Yeah, it's a stark contrast to anything really you see in Persona, because they'll show you like a city map. But it's kind of, fits a little bit more of the vibes of like modern aesthetics, I would say, of Persona, where this definitely was, the fairy tale style. Like you were saying, like some of it, like the edges look like watercolored or something, or yeah, it looked great. And you could like zoom out. Like I first wasn't zoomed out and was like scrolling through the map, and I was like, oh, it keeps going and going. Let's zoom out. And it's like they had like a bunch of different biomes up in the north, and like they had some like water area. So cool stuff there. So that's something to look forward to, that you're gonna go to all these different locations. But yeah, the tutorial, you get to know the main character, the fairy. They give you some of like the basics. So when you're exploring the environment, you have your fairy can scan the environment and let you know about enemies. They're color coded. Sorry, it's late. Like blue coded enemies are going to be easy, which means you can walk up to them in real time, hit them, and they'll just die in real time. You don't go into a turn-based battle.
Yeah.
Then there are like the yellow ones, I believe, and those are the ones that you will have to like engage with that are at your level. You can still sneak up on enemies and hit them and set up like an ambush, kind of like in Persona. And then there are the red ones, which like you shouldn't mess around with these things. And I don't think I came across one of those unless that one.
Yeah, we didn't see any red
I thought
ones.
that was So that's how like the fairy companion does for what their function serves. And then, you can fight in real time, hitting like a hack and slash button, like X's, whack away at things.
Such a cool
But for
feeling.
enemies that are yellow or above, you can't get away with that. I tried doing it, and it like froze the prompt up there, like, please push the button to engage the battle. And then when it didn't, they landed back down, and it's like, yeah, you really
The
have
only
to
way.
do this.
I like
and they
that.
can attack you in real time too, and you can take damage. So what you do is you either just engage, you either hit the squad button, which is Y at any point, you can lock onto a target. You can inspect them, you can squad up, which makes you go into the turn-based battle mechanic, or you could sneak up on them with the X/attack, get an advantage, they'll like launch them up and then squad up, and when you get an advantage, obviously you get a hit in at first, but then the enemy is stunned. So
Yeah.
you get your first set of, you get your bonus attack, first set of attacks, they're stunned, second set of attacks. So it's a really big deal
Hell yeah.
to get that in. And I didn't
And
think
it's not like a quick time event necessarily, because there's a good window, like a couple seconds to hit that button before they
Love
drop
this
back down.
Minotaur freak.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one that.
guy's sick.
This is the one. This was the highlight.
That's the one you almost got killed by, yeah.
I had to like use a big healing item, like an AoE healing item, to like bring everyone back from the brink there.
Badass.
The fur, well, some of the creatures,
Oh, yeah,
the
the
humans,
creature
like
designs,
they're
yeah.
like they're almost indescribable. Like
Yeah.
they're like even just like the first basic enemy you see, it's like a thing coming out of an egg.
Yeah,
But
What,
it's
an
like it's got
arrow?
these like big feet with boots on them, and then like the head sticking out of the crack in the middle. It looks sort of duckish but furry, and then there's like an arrow sticking through the whole egg from end to end. I'm just like, what is this thing?
It's hilarious.
Yeah, there's some wild monster designs. There's some straightforward ones like the demonic dog looking enemy that seemed to be like the go-to enemy in this demo.
Yeah, they seem to be like the grunts of the group here.
Yeah, and you have once you engage in turn-based combat, you have like your magic attacks, like you have abilities that you use on like they're mapped to a button. You have your melee type attacks. You have a defense. You can just guard as usual. You can use items, and as you have enough more party members, there's like a group attack you can use. And special attacks, whether they're magic or they're just like a unique ability, will cost your MP basically. I didn't see anything that cost HP though, because that is a thing. But I not in this, but in the past. But I didn't see anything like that. And you each have a role, those archetypes they were talking about. And I got to mess around a little bit in the archetype menu. You used to access the main menu, then you hit like the Y button that's like flashing, and then you go into the archetype menu, and it's like a hexagonal grid.
Oh, but it's like over like the Da Vinci the
very
anatomy drawing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and you could see how many slots you haven't like unlocked, and we were able to unlock Brawler. Yeah, because we were the default job, kind of like just like a knight, and yeah, we had like Knight, Warrior, and were we Seeker? What were we? I'm actually looking at the footage right now, and I was like, Knight and Warrior were the
I'm not
other
sure.
two
I know
characters.
the Brawler is the one that we got though.
But yeah. I tried out Brawler, Melee, Fist. Had a move that was like proportional to your HP, which is like typical like monk stuff right there, which is pretty cool. But I got like a new sword that was for the other job, so I switched back to that job. But the archetypes, the nice thing is when you switch a new archetype, it like auto equips gear that's like best suited, so you don't like just you just go out there with nothing on you. So that's a trope, you know, that you hate.
Right to the gauntlets and everything. But you get the archetypes. You saw earlier the pink-haired girl. She's like a bounty hunter.
Yeah, you don't recognize her
as soon as you did a handshake, it like kind of like does this like
persona
freeze time thing. You see like the blood vessels in both their hands.
I am now our eye bond stuff. It like summons it out, and it's like bing, and it's like all right. And this inner voice starts talking to you for like this, like the archetype person, the Velvet Room person was there.
Classic.
Basically like explaining
Igor,
it. It's like it was Igor. It was like this game's version of Igor was in here. It was like cool. And it wasn't very like as flashy and as maybe like complex as some of the stuff looks. It was, especially if you played any kind of Persona game, this was like clicking very quickly.
It looks so fun.
It's just stylistically going for like different vibes, different like atmosphere, and the combat, I would say, it is, you know, very like, you know, it felt very similar, but like I didn't see. Did you catch if we could change archetypes mid-battle? That was the only thing I forgot to check.
I don't know how you would.
That's the different thing. In Persona, you can change your persona in battle. It costs you a turn, but I wasn't able to see if you could switch archetypes in combat, because that would be like the one big differential thing right there.
Yeah.
What else? You get EXP, you level up. When you level up, it will put, it's like Fire Emblem style. You like puts a point into a random stat, I believe. I didn't have any control. But if you get like a bonus plus like a bonus point, you can then pick which stat you want to put it into. There was like, you know, strength, agility.
Dex.
Yeah, it was like all the like, you know, usual categories were there. What else? Yeah, like combat looked really flashy. All the attacks had really unique animations, especially when you went into your like archetype like armor to do some of those attacks. Like the Stroll character did like this multi-hit slash against like that Minotaur thing, and it was like so sick. Seeing him like wind up with sword and shield, go, and it does like the multi-slash thing, which was perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Some exploration-y environments, like there's destructible like barrels and other objects. There's like these blue glowing things that you can interact with that will give you like a healing item. Then there's treasure chest as well. Optional fights along those paths as well. I got like ambush going around a corner.
Oh, actually, that was one of the times when you were like breaking through the barrels.
Yeah, the
like
teeth.
We got into a fight for some hidden enemies,
I was like, what?
And they were like teeth. Individual teeth.
Joker.
with faces, like the cavities formed faces in the sides of them, and then like some little like ingrained symbol, like if you had like a diamond put into your tooth or something.
Yeah.
And then like the first boss, there's probably footage of it that we didn't download because we weren't able to check all of the clips they had.
Yeah.
The boss was like this. It was insane. It was like the body of like.
Oh, in the tutorial part.
Yeah, it was like
sorry.
the body was like
one you can't beat.
like vaguely human, like humanoid. But like the body was sort of like a pomegranate with like the seeds oozing out in like between the legs that looked really nice, like and gross and stuff.
Sounds
And what were those
And then
legs
there's
on
like
top
a
of?
burst in the middle with like a rib cage.
Yeah.
But then the legs had like swords coming
Yep,
out of
more
them.
people walking on swords.
Yeah, what is
on
that
blades.
trope?
And then there are these vines wrapping around it that look kind of like an apple tree or something, but then the apples had eyes.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
the face was like an owl face with wings coming out. It was just these character designs. They're crazy.
They're going off.
Yeah, it's
The bosses
it's wild.
in particular
It's
are
wild.
really
Oh.
freaking crazy.
I forgot to say, and like when you're exploring environments, you have a sprint button as well.
Sweet. I saw you running. It looked very good speed.
Yeah, it's good, and there's
Yeah.
like no stamina for that. You just keep
It's excellent.
running.
That's excellent.
And you can attack out of it too.
And between that and the real-time combat, it just seems like everything is more streamlined.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing that they did in one of the quality of life things they did in Persona 3 Reload, where weaker
Still on my
enemies.
list this year, dude.
Yeah,
Fuck.
because they used to just like run away. Enemies just run away out of fear when you were
Yeah.
too high level. Now you just run over them.
Nice.
But like it's always nice just to have that option. Like I just don't want to deal with these enemies. Get them out of here. So. Although, maybe they could replace them with harder enemies, that's
what
an
I like.
idea. What else
my
were
language.
music was, I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
The one thing was the voice work, because I had to listen out the TV. I was hearing it, but I couldn't really judge it too well. So
Yeah, I had the headphones
I don't
on,
know
and
how
it
it
was-
sounded
it was
to you.
fine.
Okay. We
But
did
the-
English.
The,
We did English.
Yeah, it was the English VO, and it was good. The music though was the battle theme in particular.
Oh, yeah.
Like you just had like this like male solo that like I don't even know what the style is. It was almost like fast yodeling. And then I also really like the track that's on the bass, the mobile bass.
Yeah.
Because that was almost like a near song or
Yep.
something playing, like as you're just walking around.
There was an opportunity to fish, but we ran out of time. But although
Love
Blood
fishing.
pointed out the absurdity of trying to fish on a high-speed boat in the ocean. Just
Well, that
to
was the
test
thing,
out.
though. Like, I didn't even know. I didn't expect that thing to like go in the ocean as well. It's the same, walker thing, but it can also go in water.
Yeah.
Mortal Engines.
So like we saw like on the map that point out there were like campsites where you could rest. Like in the we had just left one in the tutorial. There were towns you can go to, and then there were like missions. We couldn't do them because they had question mark on the location on the map. But you could undertake side quests basically and go try and tackle those as well. I could see that from there.
Yeah.
I think there's like one other thing I'm forgetting, but I think that was pretty
Looks
much
incredible.
it
It looks so good.
Yeah, I mean, it just
When
need
you
like
rank up a class, does your character get buffed, or is it just for the class?
I don't know that answer because we
The
didn't
rank up
actually
though
rank
seems
up.
to have to do
Yeah.
with the bonds, though, Huber.
Yeah.
So I think that they're
'Cause I wanna-
related but separate somehow.
I already want to rank up every class.
Yeah. But that goes back again to like the whole like it's not the same type of calendar system as Persona, but there
Yeah.
is still a like
The choice.
there are some
There, there were
things that you can do in
deadlines
certain
for
days.
we
Yeah.
didn't see it, but deadlines for request.
Dude.
So the one
Holy
we
shit.
undertook did not that got us the brawler archetype did
Yeah.
not have a deadline though, and you also get sometimes enemies will leave behind spoils. Obviously items you can use, but somewhere like had a gem icon, which was something that said you can sell these. So we didn't really get to mess with the
Yeah,
economy.
some sellable items.
I know
We
you want to
got
hear
a-
about economy.
Yeah, economy
a
and bonds,
gambler's
baby.
jewel that got some luck, +3 luck.
Oh yeah, you got the accessory on the hub ship. There was like a toilet washroom. There was like engineering down there. It had like a cozy little like
Can you
setup.
upgrade it?
Oh, I did not see anything related to that whatsoever. Yeah,
Got it.
but yeah, you can go around and explore it a little bit too.
Cool.
And it seems like there might be some activities that
I
you
love
can engage
that.
in. Yeah. So looking pretty good. Just definitely you need to spend a lot of time with these games.
Freaks with the eggs, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, goaty.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Good to hear.
All right. Next up, I got to play about an hour
Must be nice.
of Slitterhead. Yeah, man, this thing, like, it is definitely not like what we first expected, but it is.
Is the character's name Sebastian?
So this guy is not even a guy. Like, this is just.
So this is just a straight up nod to Evil Ten.
I think so, because this is just sort of like the setup.
Hell yeah.
For the world a little bit. You just get this opening cutscene before you get in control. And that whole thing where he's like, he's looking in the trash bin and you see the hole in the guy's head and you're like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
I mean, I know there is some other stuff. He must be in the story later.
Hell yeah.
But I didn't see him in any controllable way in the game. You play as whatever the heck this spirit thing is.
Alien.
Maybe.
It's probably an alien.
It's probably an alien, but it doesn't even know what it is.
That's a cool element to the story, bud.
Yeah, so
Does it speak?
Yeah. It's got like an internal monologue, and
Sick.
first, like the subtitles, I was like, wait, what language is that? And I was like, wait, that's not a language. I was like, they made up their own little symbols. And then like it talks a little bit more, and then it starts getting a little bit of English in there until it starts forming like full sentences.
I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then you just kind of like start learning how to like possess different people and like start walking around and stuff. I'm trying to get to. Oh yeah, so the first thing you possess is a dog. And
I'm out.
You
Nope.
use the dog and follow this scent through the streets. It's like, I recognize this scent. And then when you get to a certain place, there's like some shopkeeper or something that's like trying to shoo the dog away. And then that's when they teach you to like jump to another person.
Okay. You don't have to fight with the dog.
No, you just jump to a person that's on past where that the person won't let you go.
Yeah.
And
It's called slittering.
is it called? They call it slittering.
I don't know. I just wanted to.
They just call it possessing.
No.
Dang
in
it.
the game.
Nope. It's slittering.
I want to call it slittering.
No, but
gonna call it
slitterheads are
slittering.
the enemies. They're not you.
Oh, damn
I'm
it.
still calling it slittering, Isla. I
Okay,
love it.
thank you.
I love it.
But so anyway, so you jump from person to person for a lot of different reasons, like in combat, in traversal, in exploration, and you like there's things where they're like, okay, get to the top of the building by finding people that are like hanging out on balconies, and so you zip up to that person, you zip over to this person.
Puzzly?
There's a little bit of it.
Great.
That's puzzly.
Sweet.
And then they show in this shot here, it was like, okay, you can avoid fall damage by basically jumping out of the person you're in before they hit the ground.
And that person just died.
Yeah, they don't avoid the fall damage.
And this is a funny thing that they comment on in terms of the combat. It's like, well, humans are really weak, but they have an advantage in combat because there's a lot of them.
I love that.
Zerglings.
Oh my.
And
Wait, does slittering into a head kill the human regardless? Because that corpse had a hole in its eye.
but that's what I'm saying is that corpse is not from you. I don't believe.
Okay.
It's from the other thing. So even though you don't have any you don't have your memories quite yet. One of the first instinctual things that is that like, oh, I need to stop these things.
Okay.
And so even though you don't really know what's going on yet, like to like start fighting the brain worms or whatever the heck you want to call them.
Brainworms, it's good.
The slitter with a heart of gold.
Yeah. And then
Kakuzu.
and then also there are like memory fragments that are just like these like little yellow clouds throughout the city, and that as you find them, you start to remember more about who you are and what's going on, and you also start to like it also unlocks abilities.
Okay.
So that's kind of how like some of the upgrades are, and then you get to this point where you start getting these flashes where like you're looking through somebody else's perspective, and
Siren.
you
Brain
have
dance.
you have a like a limited time to like follow the scent or
rabbit.
whatever it is at that point to find that person and keep them from getting killed by the infected person.
Oh.
And when you get to them, another thing, a nice little detail is like when you like first start possessing a lot of these people, like they're in situations where like they're talking to somebody or whatever, and the other person will comment like, "Where are you going? What's going on?"
Oh, that's good.
That's
good.
awesome.
There's a lot of nice reactive little bits there. But when you get to this other person that you were seeing through their perspective, and you get into their head, they are still conscious. So like you actually start like hearing that like they're still talking. Where the other ones is like you fully take over their body, but with these special characters that are like story characters,
Sick.
they still have some form of agency, but they also have unique abilities and powers. And so that's where you see the girl that's got like the claws, and you see this guy with the motorcycle. He's got like more of a sword type weapon. And then there are also different skills and stuff. So you can put like these grenades out there, or like he's got like a shotgun that he uses. But like, again, like using humanity is so funny because like you can see when you look at the weapons that you're literally like taking out their bones and flesh to like make a club or a sword or a rod.
Hell yeah.
And similarly, like you heal by like absorbing pools of blood. And
Does it control well? Is it fun? Is it good?
yeah, so it controls well, but I think there's a bit of a learning curve, especially because parrying is a big thing.
Okay.
And parrying is definitely different than a lot of other games because it's like you guard and then there will be an indicator, like a blue marker for what direction you need to parry. And so then you need to flick the right stick in that direction when the attack is coming. So if it's coming from above, then you got to block up, if it's left, right,
I like
down.
that.
Cool.
And if there's no
For
blue
Honor
indicator,
shit.
then that means like you need to dodge. You need to roll
okay.
out of the way.
I was gonna say like Star Wars Arcade, Boba Fett.
Boba Fett,
Lightsaber
dude.
fights, right?
Oh, and Darth Vader and shit. Yeah, oh, the game's so good.
But then the other thing that I was getting more and more used to doing, so like when you're fighting an enemy, if the human you're in dies, you'll lose like a soul charge. And then if you lose 3 of those, then you yourself are dead.
Oh.
So it's really, there's a lot about like just rapidly switching to other humans.
To make sure you're not in one when they die.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like when
I'm
you're
interested.
and it's also kind of like drawing aggro. So it's like I start fighting a guy and then I jump to somebody that's behind them and then I can get a sneak attack with that person. And then the story characters that have the extra special powers and stuff like that, whichever one of those that you're sort of inhabiting at the time, those powers also transfer to the ones that you're possessing. And they still, and then like a lot of the other like normal humans and stuff, they just kind of like hang out a little bit.
As humans do.
But the special ones, like, they're more prone to dodging and healing while you're using another human. So it's like, okay, if your main dude is getting a little wrecked, just like, okay, get out of the way a little bit, get some of the heat off of him and get into yeah. There is also an ability I had called Time Bomb.
Okay.
Oh no.
It's basically suicide bombing, and it's great against groups, but you just fully blow up a human.
Holy shit.
Attack.
Does that take one of your soul charges?
No.
Oh.
It's one of the abilities.
That's hardcore.
Yeah.
So this game
Or
has
actually,
a very...
it might if you're still in it. I think you might have to time bomb and then jump out to somebody else.
This
Does
game
the
has a
person-
very unique take on the value of human life.
Does the person scream when they're about to blow up?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
There is also one of the skills they had was also like a
want that
revive all. So like if you have like a bunch of humans that are like low on health and kind of like on the ground, like you can like put out like an area of
AoE
effect
heals.
I was
that
waiting for
brings all of them back up.
Wholesome life, air time. Vibe everyone.
And then trying to think about what else. Oh, and then so they had me do like kind of like an intro area, and then they skipped me ahead to Huber. You're going through like this mafia hideout.
Love that.
Like
I love the aesthetic.
and
yeah,
and
man.
and
The
you get
environment.
there and like you're not expecting it, but like it's just like all of these bodies have been devoured. There's like all decapitated,
Shit.
trails of blood through
Dude,
this place.
decapitations.
Yeah,
Right.
and then you talk to like, which I think is like one of the mafia leaders or whatever, who essentially looks like a geisha, and she's talking to you, but it's clear that she's talking to you as one of the creatures,
Mm-hmm.
and and
Dude,
so
I'm watching They Live
know who you
tonight.
are too. So there's a lot of history there to unlock, and then she has like one of her boss monsters attack you, and he's like this big mantis thing, and you do a fight with him in the mafia hideout, and then he takes off. And then that that part where they're showing you like jumping over rooftops and stuff.
Yeah, chase
that's the
sequence.
chase.
Nice.
You're chasing down that boss, and
That's
so
fun.
like
Mix it up.
Men in Black
jumping.
style.
Hell
By
yeah.
that point, apparently you have some kind of grapple thing so that you can get onto like some high points and stuff like that. But you can only go so far, and then you've got to jump to another body, jump to this body, and just like chase them down. There's dudes in their boxer shorts that you like possess, and then like have them jumping over rooftops and stuff. And then your team they follow along and catch up with you, so you've got access to them.
Nice.
When you get there too. But yeah, it's a lot.
Shaping up.
Yeah, it's a lot different than I'd have expected.
Same.
It even said, like, even before I started playing, it's not a survival horror game.
Nice.
It's an action game.
Cool.
So yeah,
Very excited, Bloodworth.
yeah.
Cool.
I loved all the strategies you were talking about with the humans. That's like a really cool, interesting way to fight. Disposable human meat bags. Yeah.
Huber, you got to check out Marvel Rivals.
Marvel Rivals.
Oh, this game. The one. What did you tell Ben?
I'm in. I'm committed.
Committed.
I'm
You're
committed
committed.
to Marvel Rivals.
Oh man.
Very, very fun. Overwatch vibes. Played 2 full rounds of payload, basically. Played on this Tokyo, like, 2099 map. Really cool map. And every time I died, I would, like, swap a hero. So I got to use a lot of characters. And I just liked the feel of it. I liked the feel. I liked how each character really felt like, their Marvel counterpart, or their Marvel, like,
Inspiration.
their inspiration, exactly. I didn't get to do any of these team up moves, which bummed me out, dude.
Yeah.
No.
Did not get to do it. Dude, I was wrecking shop with Magneto,
Yeah,
though.
he was bragging.
It was out of control. 10 KO streak with Magneto. Don't even front.
It's Magneto, man.
Dude, Magneto's ultimate, though, I was telling you about. It's the best. It's like Frieza style. He floats up into the sky, and this orb is charging, and you can, like, take damage. You're vulnerable when you're doing it. He can also, you can shoot it early. It won't do as much damage, but if you let it fully charge, you just throw this orb down. And in an objective-based round, that's very key. Because you just, like, throw it on the objective, dude, and people are just getting obliterated.
Yeah. Devastating.
It was funny. The Punisher felt exactly like Soldier 76. I thought that was really funny. Like, Magneto had a shield that reminded, and even Doctor Strange had a shield that reminded me of Reinhardt, So definitely heavy inspiration from Overwatch. The look of it was really nice. Like, I'm already ready to, collect skins for all of my Marvel heroes that I love. Yeah.
What about you talked to me a little bit about Spider-Man.
Spider-Man has the max difficulty. So it's like how difficult they are to use, and Spider-Man was like 5 stars.
Wow.
Really tricky, really fast. You can swing around, and you can do like uppercuts, and it's just like really quick hits. Goes down really quickly. So it's more of, I think Spider-Man's style is like get in, do some damage, get out kind
Yeah,
of
a little
thing.
bit more of an ambush character.
Yeah. Hulk was cool because you're like Bruce Banner, and then when you use your ult, you turn into Hulk.
Okay.
Which was really fun. I'm trying to think who else I was using. Storm was in there. Kind of
Nice.
played similarly to Magneto, kind of just ranged, like throwing stuff in there. Ultimate is like a big, twister.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I was impressed by it. I played with other people in the room. It just felt really nice. I was like, oh, this is a fun game, especially if it's free to play. I'm hoping it is. I don't know if that's the case or not.
I can look it up. Let me see.
Yeah, if it's free to play, like good on them.
Good.
Big win. If you love Marvel, like so many of these multiplayer forever games are so dependent on like how much I love the thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I love Marvel. So I mean, it just makes it a little easier for me to want to commit because I like the characters already so much.
And you're committing for a few weeks.
We'll see. I'm ready to commit, dude. I'm ready to commit. We'll see what's. It's also hugely dependent on what is out at the time, what I'm playing at the time.
So maybe one week.
But like I've fallen off of Helldivers 2, so now a spot has opened up on my never-ending games. Fortnite will never leave because of Grumbomb. Love playing with Grumbomb, and now Gabby. I've been playing with Gabby, so there's not much room there.
I don't see a confirmation so far, but somebody probably knows it's not me.
Yeah.
It's not in the it's not mentioned in the most recent stuff.
Yeah. It felt nice.
Nice.
Yep.
Isla,
Ow, I hurt my knee.
you got to play with some cameras.
I sure did, Charles.
Lushfoil Photography Sim. What a name there.
Yeah. So I suspect, because it's very similar, that this is the same as that New Zealand thing I made an easy update about like
Yeah, it's the same
400
guy, yeah.
years ago. Okay, yeah. Because there's one part of the hill that was like
So funny
exactly
you
the same
spotted that
layout. I was like, this is the
it
exact
happened
same
to be there.
layout
Yeah.
as the other thing. So I wonder if they like reused a bit of it. Not a whole heap to say. Like, from the B-roll we're seeing right now, the graphics are astonishing. And it was kind of weird in person. And like when I played the one at home, the graphics looked like this. Like they looked really good. I mean, like, I don't know if this is just like a video they took. I don't know. But no, that's the game. So it's like, I don't know if, and I heard a few other complaints about this at the show where like the Razer laptops or whatever that was running everything maybe just didn't have enough juice to like run some of the demos or something.
Yeah, I definitely had seen some things myself that were like,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a good environment to like
Right.
judge the performance of these.
So like
when people were using laptops, yeah.
this one was kind of weird because it's like the whole thing is sold on the realism and the beauty of the graphics, and like I can attest, having played the earlier game, that it's gorgeous, but in person it looked kind of like
It looked a little
voxely or
yeah,
like alien, like grainy. Yeah, and like I went in, like I kind of like looked around to make sure no one was looking, and I like dicked around with the settings to see if I could like try to make it look like it was supposed to, and I like turned off all the effects, the blur, the depth of field, the film grain and stuff. I tried to turn off motion blur and stuff like that. But when I wasn't moving, it would kind of like resolve into really high quality graphics. So early build. I'm just saying all of that just to say like something was up with the demo, but I know that this game doesn't look like that. Anyway, you just walk around and take pictures. And sometimes you take pictures and it goes bring, and you like took a picture of a secret thing, and like there's stuff hidden around. There's little things you can find. This new, more fully featured version has like secret stuff you can find. Like I found a paddle board and I was just kind of like dicking around on a paddleboard out in the water, and I could see like turtles and fish and stuff
Nice.
under me. You couldn't take pictures from the paddleboard,
Oh, weird.
which I guess you can see in the footage there was a paddleboard there, but on the beach. But yeah, it's cute. I don't know. You can find like
some
a
pics.
tourist boards that have like a map of the area. In the Japanese area, they have they had in one area in like the Australian version area, they had a tourist thing with like photos on it, and I imagine if you take those photos, you kind of like unlock stuff. I've always had the kind of vibe that there's like secrets hidden in this, but I don't know if there are. But yeah, it's just pretty and really calming. The music is really soft, and it's just, if you like walking around in beautiful places, taking pictures, this is for you.
Sick.
Nice.
Cool.
Chill game.
Yeah.
Make a game out of anything.
And then on the polar opposite side of that, I got to see a hands-off demonstration for Dune Awakening.
Dune Awakening.
Which, like, all right.
Uh-oh.
So I was skeptically before going into this, yeah? I was like,
Survival
well, and also just like
crafting MMO vibes.
survival crafting MMO, yeah. And I'm like, all right, like, come on, like, what year is this? And then I was,
You with a lot of those.
well, yeah, it's
Seriously.
back. But then I was like, okay, also it's Arrakis. Like, how are you gonna make this feel like interesting, different areas and whatever? And they really went into that. But also, I just watched them play it for a half an hour, and it's kind of sick.
Okay.
Like they had it set up. It was like a vertical slice that they'd prepared for the event, you know. So it was kind of like a mixture of stuff. They said like story and progression wise, they were 10 hours in, but they were using an ornithopter that you would get maybe 50 hours in, like later on. So yeah, you can have an ornithopter. You can have like a speeder, but like a bike thing. You can have like sandcrawler car. There was like a huge building, like a Harkonnen building, and they were like, obviously this is a permanent structure, but like this was, their team used player building materials to build it. As we're seeing in the B-roll here now, it's like, you can build insane structures.
Dude.
Which plays into the end game in a very interesting way, which I'll get into in a little bit. But yeah.
The war for spice.
Yeah, there's spice, there's the Harkonnens, there's the Atreides. You can kind of side with either side. Pardon me?
Can you be a rogue agent?
Maybe, probably. I don't know, maybe. So yeah, if you missed the kind of story trailer, this takes place in an alternate timeline where Jessica did what the Bene Gesserit told her to do and had a girl. Hashtag girl Dune. And I told the devs, I'm like, I'm trying to make girl Dune a thing, and they're like, hell yeah. And I asked if she was involved in the story, and you know, they gave me the sparkle eyes, but they didn't say anything. The daughter or Jessica or whatever. Obviously, Paul doesn't exist. But yeah, so as they said in the story trailer the other day that was in whichever thing that was in, they were like, House Atreides was not destroyed. They're on Arrakis. So are the Harkonnens. So they're kind of just at war. The Sardaukar are kind of here to just keep the spice flowing. And allegedly the Fremen are gone. That's what everyone's saying, that, yeah, they're dead. But who knows?
Season 2.
Well, who knows? Yeah, who knows?
What's going on?
For the very first thing I noticed, and I asked what this meant, and they were like, we're still tooling it in, so like whatever. But like, the first thing I noticed was the character they were playing as had spice withdrawal.
Oh.
So you're like, because you're on
Drug
Arrakis,
addict.
you're gonna get, I mean, it's Dune. You're gonna be taking drugs. But yeah, they said that one of the first things that they started thinking about was like, how do we make biomes? How do we make this interesting? How do we make it not just a bunch of fucking sand? And they did it in a really convincing way, honestly. Like, they started the demo in an iron-rich area, so the sand was all red. The rocks and cliffs were all black. from iron, and you can mine that iron because you need that for stuff apparently. Also quickly, well, no, I'll get to that in a minute. Later on in the demo, they went to find a crashed ship, which was like a great house kind of asset, and they were scavenging in there, and there were a bunch of enemies. And that was down in he had a really fancy word for it. It was like a canyon, but it started with a G. Gyre? No. Something. It was like a big canyon, but it was underground entirely, and other people had settled there, and there were like cool, like glowing minerals that you could get in there. And it looked like a completely different area, right? And, there's various parts of the sand. They said that you can kind of see the different kinds of sand. There's quicksand, there's drum sand, obviously, and if you hit that, you'll get eaten by the worm. If you get killed by another person or die in various other ways, you can respawn, and you'll keep a lot of your stuff. If you get
First thing I'm doing is getting eaten by a sand.
If you get be careful.
First thing.
Because if you get eaten by a worm, and let's say you're riding your bike or whatever, and you get eaten by a worm, you wake up naked with no items, and your car is gone forever.
Jeez.
Worm ate you.
Awesome.
So yeah, don't get ate by the worm.
Do it early.
Walk
You got
without
nothing
rhythm.
to lose.
But if you hit the drum sand, you attract the worm. You can do it on purpose, I imagine, too. The movement is actually really pretty cool. You have the suspensor belt, and they were like, you see it in the movie, and people are kind of floating around, and they're like, but what if it's fast? And so you can kind of like knee thrust forward into suspensor belt glide.
Sounds like Warframe.
Well, and I told them, I was like, I love Warframe. And a couple of them were like, oh, and then I was like, so I'm kind of really pleased to see that this is fast. And they're like, well, it's not as fast as Warframe. And I'm like, yeah, don't even try. Like, nobody can bullet jump like Warframe. But like, it looked like it felt good to move around, which honestly, like MMO maybe implies the wrong idea about this game, kind of, because it's more like action-y, survival-y, build-y kind of stuff. There's radiation. There was a crashed ship, and there was radiation around it, and if you spent too long in the radiation, you would die from radiation. The visuals are very good. You can climb anything. They kept saying it's a Funcom game, so you can climb anything, and I couldn't remember any other Funcom games. So I was like, cool. I said that if the worm eats you, you die forever, or you lose all your shit. In the demo I was watching, they had aligned with the Harkonnens, so they were getting kind of quests and stuff from that. Another cool thing is that there's a bunch of different kind of like combat and skill trees based on who you kind of learn stuff from. They said you can like talk to Mentats and learn like Mentat style combat. They paged through some stuff, and I saw a Mentat skill tree, a Swordmaster skill tree, a Planetologist skill tree. They're playing as a melee character in this demo. The world has dynamic events, like the one that they saw was a Harkonnen military guy kind of like running his kind of privates or whatever, his ensigns through some like drills. But he was like, yeah, that could be a slaver, or that could be somebody like bringing in Atreides like prisoners, or, and those things could kind of change. One of the coolest things, though, was once they went into that crevasse. For that wreck, he used a resource scanner, which, like, it put a bunch of symbols all over the damn screen. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, that obviously will be important for trying to find resources. But then he was like, yeah, so another really important thing that this does is scan for water. And you know what's got a lot of water in it? Blood. And you know what's got a lot of blood in it? People. And so then he was like, yeah, so you use your resource scanner to scan for enemies because water symbols show up, and if they're close, you're like, that's what, and you can kill someone and take their water, if you need it. So I thought that was really cool. Like, conceptually, I was like, using your resource scanner to find enemies because they have water in their body is like a neat thing. Okay. So where it got crazy, and your car can get overheated, and you can get bigger planes and ornithopters and whatever, and blah, 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 blah. Loot chests, unique items, you find schematics, you build one item from the schematic, or you can sell it, weapons and armor from great houses, blah, 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 stuff like that. The areas are pretty big. So the main first part, like the campaign, apparently takes place on an 8x8 kilometer map with 40-plus-ish players per map. But then at a certain point, and I don't know, like maybe when you're done with the main campaign or something, you can fly the ornithopter to the edge of that map and go out into a world, like an big overworld multiplayer map.
Oh.
And that part was already multiplayer, but then this part is multiplayer, and there's other people with their ornithopters and whatever out there. I didn't fully understand what you would do out there, but there would be like story locations, social hubs, bars, like Eric Keane, like bars and shops and towns and all kinds of stuff. But then he was like, then you can fly to the very edge of that into the deep desert. And the deep desert is a 3x3 grid of those 8x8 kilometer maps. So that's like 400 whatever kilometers, whatever. Huge, big, huge thing. And this is the end game kind of thing. And the loop for the end game is insane. So there's a storm that happens every week, and players can go out into this deep desert, like scan for resources, and this is, end game stuff. You're looking for end game resources. You got your little crew of people, and you scan for end game resources. Then you build up a base, try to do all your stuff to harvest and get all these resources, and then get the hell out
Extraction.
before, and like within that week, before other humans, other players, or the storm kills everyone and destroys all the buildings. Because every week, the storm will kill everyone who's still in there and destroy all the buildings, and then the map will reset. So it's on a
Crazy.
weekly rotation.
Cool.
Kind of reminds me of the Division a little bit, right, Huber? Like when you're like going into the dark zone. Like it's not exactly, but there's a little
Shades
bit
of
of
that.
that element. Yeah.
Going into a dangerous like PvP slash like PvE type thing. Yeah.
Anyway, that was everything they told me in the thingy, and it seemed honestly kind of sick.
Does seem cool.
Like a lot of information.
Seems very well researched.
Big
and thought
information dump, but that's how it is. Yeah. Oh, and the visuals, they're actually literally working with the people from the movie.
Right, I remember that, yeah.
So like the visuals match the movie, but the story and the lore and all the stuff is even closer to the books than the movie was. So there's some like deep nerd shit in here. Like he was talking about like flower sand and shit, and I was like, cool, all right.
Well, I think that's one of the things they had said at some point earlier, where it's like because they're using Unreal, that like they essentially can use some of the same models of things for like effect.
Like literally from the movie.
Yeah, they essentially like import the thing and like make it to their spec or whatever. Yeah.
It's bonkers.
That's
Yeah, because he
cool.
was like, here's the Harkonnen version of the ornithopter that you can get later if you're like buddy with them, and it was like big. I don't know, yeah. I was pleasantly surprised. It seems hardcore as hell, but it seems fun.
Better have a crew.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sick.
Goodbye.
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 Back to
Goodbye.
the other room I go.
Goodbye and good game.
Yeah, we'll get you here in a second. Phantom Blade Zero, Huber.
Phantom Blade Zero.
Oh, here we go. A game I heard about all SGF.
Phantom Blade Zero.
Okay, so
This
is Jeff
closed-
redeemed?
There's some redemption here. Yes. And I was the only reason I was I wasn't even hard on it exactly. I was hard on like the fact that that's closing the show.
Right.
That's a huge deal. So it's like, all right, like Phantom Blade Zero, it just like didn't like I didn't understand like I thought it was just like, okay, here we go, another Souls like. First of all, it's not even like Souls like, it's more like Stellar Blade
Yeah.
action style
good to hear.
vibe. Yeah. Really cool game. Did a little tutorial and just a couple little sections. The demo was like 15 minutes. You have a couple different weapons. It's primarily about blocking, dodging, and parrying like you would expect. The rhythm of it's a little different though, where it's like I realized this when I got to the final boss is like you can parry normal attacks, but you really want to just like block normal attacks and then wait for like one of their blue attacks to parry. So it's like you're picking your moments, you know, you're blocking and then like, all right, parry, boom, going in. So it's not like, you know, you're not trying to parry every single attack, which I started to get that rhythm, and once I got into that rhythm of like block, parry, boom, I got this. Like
Nice.
Yeah. I used a few weapons. I used like your standard sword, some daggers, a bigger greatsword, and then you also have like a bow and arrow, and then you also have like this giant like cannon laser type.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Thing
It's like a grenade launcher or something.
Insanely weird. I was like, what the hell? But then you also, so you have your weapons, you're ranged, and then you also have, I forget the name of it, but you also have like your weapon art basically.
Got it.
If you see on the bottom there, it's like redded out.
Yeah, it's on a cooldown right
that'll
there.
fill up, and then you get your like weapon art, and then you use that, and it does like quite a bit of damage.
All right.
To the enemies, and it was interesting because I went into the first area, and there were two ways to go, and I totally chose the wrong way to go because the way, if you go the other way, you can like backstab an archer that ended up fucking me up.
No, range fill.
Exactly. So I go into this area and I just get swarmed. There's like 2 archers taking me out. There's like 5 melee enemies. One of the melee enemies has a ton of health, doing a lot of damage. I kill a bunch of them, but then that enemy killed me. But then the interesting part was I died, came back to life. Every enemy I killed was still dead. I didn't have to like redo that Souls-like shit. Where it's like, you know? So a little more friendly.
Okay, yeah.
A little more friendly.
All right.
Yeah.
Going for those vibes.
Yeah. So a little friendlier vibe. Still a difficult game. So like, settle in. You know, dude. Like, get ready because it was intense. I died 5 times in the demo. They give you a little score tracker at the end. I was like, fuck. I was like, did anyone die 0 times? They're like, yeah. I was like, shit. Damn it. Because I was trying to parry every attack, dude, and that's not the way.
Okay.
It's not the way. That's my excuse. That's my damage control.
Yeah, I mean, some of the footage they got here is like they're going really fast.
It's a fast-paced game. It feels nice. I kept saying that to, here's the way you should go. Here's the way you should go.
Nice backstab.
Yes.
Get those snipers.
You have your little life gem, soul Estus flask thing. You got those.
Yeah, little gourd.
Yeah. And the boss was really cool. There was like a mini boss kind of thing, but then there was like the main boss. This main boss was a nut job. He had this big. First of all, he looked like the dude from Blasphemous, and he had this big swinging spiked flail type thing, and one of his attacks, Damiani, insta kill.
Oh no.
One of his attacks, he's like spinning it around and then he throws it up in the air, and it's like, you better not be in that area when that thing comes down, because it literally just like eats your head. It was awesome.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it lands on your head and just like squishes it, dude. You're dead. I was like, that's sick. Pretty challenging boss though. Like you die fairly quickly, I would say, on the boss, which I really appreciated. And yeah, just the animations, the fluid energy of this game, it felt really nice. Obviously, I got to see, one of the big things for me with any character action type, this was like kind of the mini boss. Any character action type, let me rephrase. Any game that is very challenging, I need a little bit more out of it.
Okay.
Because like I'm gonna go through something challenging. I don't want to just like put myself through that unless I'm really into it. So I'm really into the fighting and the mechanics. But it's like, will I be into the story? Will I care about this character? Will I care about the
no idea what
world?
the story is.
Yeah, the monster design is cool. The world looks cool. So it's like everything is here. I'm ready to go. But it's like, all right, is the story just like throwaway or, so. But even then, like, I think everything else feels so good that I am ready to commit on this game. Like, see those blue ones you can parry, and it's really nice.
Yeah.
The parry ones.
Really
the
cool
red you
animation.
have to dodge, but if you perfect dodge a red one, it'll do the same thing. where
Oh,
it's-
nice.
Yeah. So, very, very fun. I'm very impressed by this game. It felt really nice. I think fans of, Devil May Cry, Stellar Blade recently will be into this for sure.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
Light attacks, heavy attacks, power surge. That's what it was called. Power surge when you get those.
Yeah.
What was crazy is the demoer that I was with was like laughing because I would try to power surge, but I didn't have a charge.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And if you
I was
do
doing
it-
that with some games too. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you power surge without a charge, your character
Oh, no.
like gets fatigued kind of for a second, making you vulnerable. So it's like, oh shit, and then they come and punish you. Yeah, it was sick.
Kind of like he died too much in Bayonetta.
Yeah. Another big question is like the progression of this game, like the building.
Oh
up your
yeah, like
character.
skill tree. Like
Yeah,
like
they didn't
weapon
really-
shit,
yeah.
Like, is it literally Sekiro where you just have what you have and that's it, or you learn spells or whatever? Like
The
your
demo
sword is-
cut to different spots, kind of. So at one point I had the twin daggers and a small sword, but then when I got to the main boss, I had the daggers and like a big blade.
Okay, so
there
okay.
are things
What
you
if they're,
unlock.
like loadouts or something, even if they don't let
Yeah.
you choose. Okay,
So got to see how all that shakes out,
okay.
and of course the boss variety because I liked the main boss. It was really cool.
Did you ask if there's a Mikiri counter?
I did not ask
Damn
for
it.
counter. I know I fucked up. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Did not ask about it. Impressed, so it feels good. Feels really good. If you like what you see right now, you'll be into this.
Commander Cleve.
For sure.
Nice.
Yep.
Very sick.
Yep.
Yeah, when you were talking about that, it reminded me of like one other little detail about Slitterhead with the parrying system
Yeah.
is it rewards consistency because if you have to get like multiple parries
Yeah.
in order to do like a stagger on them. You don't just
Got
like
it.
parry and stagger. It's like no parry, and then if you get another parry,
Yeah.
it's like building up like this little meter that they've got in the
Sure.
corner. So
Nice. There's a
but-
jump button. There's like not platforming, but
okay.
like you'll jump, you'll like
yeah.
climb a wall type thing. There's one where you like do one of my favorite shits ever, dude. When you like put a sword in a wall and like slide down. God, I love that. It's always cool.
nice.
Yeah. So yeah, the game has style, and most importantly, it has very nice combat encounters. So
Sick.
yeah.
Definitely. wanna try
What
that.
else has style? All kinds of style. A style that might gross you out a little bit. The Rise of the Golden Idol.
Oh, this.
Yeah, I didn't seen the trailer yet, so I'm curious what they managed to show in here. But if you hadn't checked out
Whoa.
the Case of the Golden Idol, that was released, but just like 2 years ago, basically.
Yeah, I
Feels like
cannot
it was yesterday.
believe that,
Yeah,
dude.
and they
Wow.
did a couple of DLC last year, so now they've got a
That's probably
sequel
why.
already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the first game was like late 1700s, 1800s, something like that. Like a lot of like
Time period,
like
yeah.
sort of like aristocracy, like almost like Pride and Prejudice era kind of stuff, right?
Pride and Prejudice.
But so like you're dealing with that kind of timeline. This is happening in like 1976, so there's like a big
Yo.
jump. And the art style is really different too, because like it's not going for a pixel aesthetic. It's more like
insane.
hand painted stuff. But it still maintains like a lot of the like these guys have gross faces, like
It's unsettling.
yeah, and so it's interesting to see that like there are I don't know how it's going to connect necessarily, but there are some of those nods where it's like there is a thing where it's like, oh, they were a professor of ancient Lemurian, which is like one of the civilizations
Nice,
that you
Learn
encounter
about it.
in the colonial setting or whatever.
Very cool.
Okay.
The Pride and Prejudice setting.
And the very first scene here,
Yeah.
like the first thing that you've got going on is there is a dude strangling a dude.
Hell yeah.
And the way that this game works is it's like
So dark.
it's sort of like a point and click
It's
adventure,
so
but it's like a lot more of detective work, and essentially that like you don't control a character moving around a scene, and there's not really like real time action. It's like you're looking at like a snapshot moment in time, and you have to basically look at all the clues. And like when you look at a clue and like say somebody is saying a certain, has a sentence that they say, then some of those words go into this inventory list that you have, right? And same thing, like if you look at details and things, like certain words get added to your inventory list.
Like the original.
And the gameplay is similar, but I don't think like necessarily a lot of people played the original, so I'm trying to describe it. And then once you sort of have like some of your list of words, then you like drag them into blank spaces in like sort of like the case description or whatever. But then there are also like little sub things that you kind of have to fill out first. Like some of the things, like first thing you usually have to do in a scene is, well, who are these people? You see this character, you see this character. What are their names? And you're going to be all like, maybe this person over here says a first name, maybe some other like dossier has a last name or a name on a door. Okay, this guy is the guy whose name is on that door. And once you identify things, then you can be like, okay, this dude is strangling this dude, and what is he strangling him with? And like just sort of piecing out all of those different things.
The who, the what,
exactly,
the when,
Yep.
and the where.
Who benefits?
And
Who benefits?
One of the things
Who benefits?
a
First
couple of things
question.
that are different here. One is so rather than like, oh, you are definitely going to use all of these words, which I don't think was necessarily true in the first one. They have some that are like groups of possibilities with like question marks on them.
Whoa.
So like that first scene that's like prison, asylum, hotel, because you just see like a hallway with like room numbers on them and like where are you?
Yeah.
That's one of the things you're just gonna have to like sort out by looking at everything. And like the first one is pretty easy, but it's like it's there to get you into the mechanics. And then another thing that's different is rather than when you go to your different clue sheets and stuff, rather than being like a whole full screen different, there are actually like separate windows that can pop up so that you can have this window here and another smaller window and another smaller window that like so that you can drag things across a little bit more easily and also see like the full screen at once without having like a window on the bottom. And then the second, after like the introduction thing, it gave me like chapter 1. And what was interesting with that is you basically had to solve 3 different scenes, and then with the clues that you get, like they sort of, some of them inform, some things from one scene influence another scene, and they're actually like on separate TVs, like you click on a TV and you go to this scene. And so the clues would kind of like play into each other, and then there was one overall sheet of like, okay, like now string together this whole story of what's going on, and like
What a great setting compared to the last one, because there's just so much more technology.
Yeah.
And it's also not too far. Like 70s, I think, is so perfect because it's still like, no cell phones and stuff, but there is so much more technology than the first one. So it's really cool.
Yeah, and it's like the first scene is like there's like a like outdoor in the snow, and there's like this couple comes across like this dead body, and you look at the clues and like, did he slip on the stairs? Did he fall from the bridge? Did somebody attack
Anatomy
him?
of a fall.
Yeah, and then
Great movie.
There's another one where it's like there's like a construction site, and there's like one body like under like a cement pipe, and then there's like another body in like the other half of the pipe, and then there are like these machines there's like 3 or 4 different like construction machines,
Yeah.
like the one with like the wrecking ball on it, and like an excavator, and then like something else. And you have to like figure out who is operating the machines, what happened, how did these people die, etc. And then the third scene was a press conference at the police station, and and then you're looking through the morgue. You're trying to find out like what this series of cases is that they're talking about, but then there are little threads going in between. It's like, okay, somebody is pulling the strings and paying people off,
shady.
and
Umbrella.
these different scenes start to play into each. That's where the different scenes start to play into each other. It's like, okay, who is behind this? What is going on? And it starts pulling you in. And this is just chapter 1. So
Sick.
yeah.
So very nice, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like I think it's
Yeah.
doing a good job of, because like I really loved the original.
The demo's out now.
Yeah, that's probably the same demo that I played. I just played it a little bit early. The first game, like I really loved the first game, and then the DLCs, I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting to fill in some of the backstory and stuff, but they didn't hit me as strongly.
Sure.
And now this one is like
Real deal.
again, like kind of like reinvigorating, even though it's like, like just kind of looking at it, it's like, well, it's not that different, but it kind of
The
does
setting
feel a
makes
little bit
it,
more
yeah.
complex, and the setting is really
It's so
interesting,
cool.
and just like what is the freaking red curse? Yeah, that they're attributing some of these deaths to, because
Yeah.
like guys have like these red bloodshot eyes.
So intense. Some Alan Wake shit.
Yeah, and how does
Can't wait
does
for
this somehow play into the Golden Idol? If you finish the Golden Idol, you might wonder like how would that even be possible?
Yeah.
So it'll
That's
be
fun.
interesting to see where it goes.
Ooh.
Cool.
Yeah. Damiani, I don't
Thriller.
even remember anything about what Deathsprint 66 is.
This will be. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Deathsprint 66
Sounds awesome.
is, well, I gotta give credit to Elise Williams because she described it to me as very mature Mario Kart.
Oh,
as in like
right,
hyper
okay.
violent, extremely gory, over the top kills, but you're
What?
running. You're people running. You are running through courses. You get power ups.
Dude.
You get boost. You can go. Yeah, you can go like. You can run up walls and stuff like the gravity thing from Mario Kart 8. And there are all these hazards, lethal lasers, gears. Like you fall off the course. It's like you're just like. Meat, grinded meat, boom, dead. But like instead of like Lakitu carrying you back, you like reassemble back at like a spot
Die
in the
for
back.
fame.
Yes, and you got power ups. Like you can have like defensive ones. I got like a shield.
some
You can
sick
toss like a
shit,
gear, a saw and saw people. It's like you can like when you run by people, it's like a road rash. You hit them and stuff. You like
Public Enemy number one.
You want to knock them off the edge because like it's brutal. And as a person, this the concept of this is hilarious. You can drift your person running. You gotta like, and that's the key to maintaining your speed is you do gotta drift around corners. So yeah, it is
so fun.
yeah. And
Four players?
Sorry, it is multiplayer online. I played against bots for this one. It was funny. They started me off with like, here's a stage with no hazards and no people. All right, you got used to this?
That's
Okay.
friendly.
Now let's put you into a stage by yourself with hazards. Okay, you were able to handle that. Now let's throw you in with some like AI people. It's like, oh boy, and it went from like 0 to 100 once people are in there because they're like the opening
knocking.
dash. Well, when he was showing me in the first time. He got killed like within 1 second.
Oh my
Going
god.
out the gate. There's a turbo boost at the beginning, like when you wait for the
God.
beep. You can get like a dash. So yeah, it's like
sick.
it's just like I mean, yeah, it looks like it's like really easy to pick up and play. And like there are like a whole bunch of different courses, and yeah, first time you're just like you think you got it, and then some random obstacles are gonna be there, and you're just gonna die, and it's like you just like have that like Next time I'll get it. And then even when you know it's coming sometimes, because they're not stationary, like some of them are like spinning windmill style lasers, and they're jump pads all over the place. I don't want to hit the damn jump pads because you have no control of your trajectory once you launch off of it, I feel like, or it's very subtle. And so if you're launched at the damn laser, it's like you're hitting it. You're just dead. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Yeah. And there's parts where you can't tell, like, oh, wait, that's just empty space. Like the tracks is like a little bit like there's like a gap in the track. I didn't notice it. I'm going into some spinning gears. I'm dead. There's also grinding on rails as well. And then those lightning bolts, the last real, I think, key mechanic was those lightning bolts charge your booster, and it's a boost meter, and you can get up to like 3 charges for it, and like you can keep your momentum going real fast. But I imagine people are gonna be like real assholes because, like, obviously in Mario Kart you hit your stuff, and but like nudging people into things, I feel like wasn't really a big thing in Mario Kart. Like it's an F-Zero thing, but like not in Mario Kart. And this, it's like, oh yeah, you will have dire consequences for, like, you don't want to hit people. You want to get away from you want to either knock them out or be knocked out, basically. So yeah, it's a simple concept. It was, really fun to play in small amounts, and yeah, I think it has a chance to catch on, honestly.
I would play in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Running Man.
Yeah. They literally quoted that it's like if you about exploding stuff. And a fun thing, I won't say what they were, but some of the names of the bots in there.
Dynamo.
It's the only one I remember. I haven't seen that movie.
Very violent movie, famous movie, violent things like people or directors who made violent movies.
Paul Verhoeven.
I won't say words.
Carpenter.
I won't say words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Isla, will you say some words?
I will say some words.
But yeah, fun. It was fun.
Cool. I'm gonna play it.
Bounty Star is a game about having a mech, but bad things have happened in your past. The town you were supposed to protect or whatever has been destroyed.
Oh no.
And you feel guilty and mad about it. But now you got to kind of build yourself back up because, the chips
are down.
Yeah, the chips are down. So you're this woman whose name I don't recall, and you are hanging out in this kind of like, it's sort of like a farm. It's sort of like like an old outpost. Some like no good lowdown criminal had this place. Yeah, it's like a mechanic shop with like some farm area outside of it, which is cool. And
Clem.
so like,
this.
Clem, that's her name. Yeah, Moreau's Tale of Graveyard Clem. So the idea. She is a lefty. When I pulled out the gun to do because this is like a kind of an activity you can do in this is the hub area that you're seeing now. It's kind of just like a little mechanic shop with the area outside of it. But yeah, when you pull out the gun to shoot these bottles, I was like, she's a lefty? And it honestly like fucked up my aim for like a second. I was like trying to aim and I was like, my head was like, what's happening? Like she's using the wrong hand. Yeah, so there are 2 kind of pillars to this game. Yeah, there's the mech combat and there's the back kind of home on the ranch sort of a deal. And you back on the ranch, you cook and prep for missions. Like Monster Hunter, what you cook gives you bonuses for the battle. It'll I mean, it's kind of funny. It'll be like, eating this will help your mech stay cool longer.
You feed the mech too?
Yeah, you feed yourself, but it's
really
like
heating up.
Yeah, the engines will stay. Yeah, so your mech will heat up really hard. And you can have various. You can outfit your mech with various things, like one melee weapon, one ranged weapon, various support items. Some of the support items, some of the support items are like to help cool down. Like I had one that put like a kind of a grid around me, and while I was in it, it would like cool me down.
That's
I
cute.
think. I had a healing thing. There's a dash. I asked if like vertical jumps and stuff, like floating or anything will come, and he was like, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that you'll unlock. You can paint your mech. That seemed cool.
Yeah.
At the ranch, you can farm various things. It doesn't seem like it doesn't seem to me like it's like a big farming kind of a thing, but you can just kind of like place the different things that you want and like
Got it.
for like, you know.
Yeah, I
but
know that was something we were concerned about when they suddenly brought up farming. It's like, what?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Wild West mech game plus farming.
I don't know how in depth the farming will be. It seemed like, you know, in depth enough that you're getting the strategy out of it. So it's like I'm planting corn and you know, these things so that I can make these dishes to get the effects that I want. You know, like I don't know if it gets more complicated than that. But yeah, you sort of like build up that home base, make it better. And it'll grow and change over the course of the campaign. Just checking. Oh yeah, you can get chickens. It gets greener and more full of life as the story goes on. Your little farm area. You can jump. You can get shields. And it's made by a really small team, like 5 full-time people, and they contract in for some stuff here and there when they need someone that they don't have the skill set for on hand. You know. One criticism I had was that the demo started with some kind of mundane around the kind of homestead stuff. And then when I was talking to the dev, he was like, yeah, the real game starts with her like terrible bad day where all the things go down. But he was like, for a demo, that was just like, and we didn't have a long enough time slot for you to actually like do it. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, that makes total sense. Because like the story kind of just started. They had like a little text thing at the beginning, which I think just fills in what you missed. That'll be in the actual game, you know? Yeah, and so like obviously it's a small team, like doesn't have all the money in the world, you know? So it's like, you know, you forgive the little rough around the edges parts, and obviously it's still in development. So like, I think it has a lot of potential. Like it looks really cool, and it seems like a good balance between like, it's like just the meat and potatoes, like the fun stuff of a mech game and a farming game. So it's kind of my hope is you can have best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Without getting like too in the weeds, you know. He was like, yeah, he's like it's not, you know, it's not Mech Warrior, it's not, you know, from
Stardew Valley.
It's
Dead
keep
or
it chill.
alive bounty.
Love
So
that.
nice.
Yeah, yeah, and you get pretty immediate like idea about the tone, you know, like they're kind of like down on their luck, you know, like bounty hunters, and she's like pissed and wants to go after the people who got her, but like, and she wants to like get jobs and be taken seriously, but the guy she's you know, that's helping her out, you know, is like, yo, hey, you got to get back on your feet, you know, like this shit is whack. So yeah, I don't know, seems cool.
Cool.
Bounty star, dude.
Always got my eye on the mechs.
Well, Huber, we're about to give you another eye on the mechs.
No more mechs.
But instead of a mech western, I have a mech in a post-apocalyptic future.
3 posts now.
I've just made that up. I did.
Okay, because they do.
It's very distant future.
Okay, they do.
In which rabbits rule the earth.
Go.
Rusty Rabbit.
This is Rusty Rabbit.
The hell is this?
This is freaking amazing, Hubert. So this is from the mind of Jen Urobuchi, who is also the creator of Psychopaths.
And Fate Zero series.
Yeah, and humankind abandoned the
Ice
earth.
Age.
And yes, rabbits inherited it, and it is freaking nuts. You play
this one.
as this old man rabbit.
Yeah.
Who is like, he's got in some fight with his family, so he lives alone now, and he's become a junk scavenger, put together his own mech, and he's voiced by the same guy who voices Kazuma Kiryu.
Nice, dude.
So you're looking at these cute rabbits, but yeah, they're like they went to like
awesome.
A lot of like top tier Japanese voice actors.
Hell yeah.
I think it might be her. One of the like girls is Nezuko from Demon Slayer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Were they like talking to the camera, like a talking head section in like a reality show or something?
I think it's
Or is it just
I think they're just sort of
cutscenes?
Yeah, they just cut between characters as if
Oh, okay.
Definitely.
you're inhabiting him and looking at them.
I see.
Gives me some fist vibes for sure.
Yes, it definitely has some fist vibes going
Skip
up.
fist. Don't skip it.
Yeah, he freaking like pulls out carrots and smokes them like cigars. There's this whole crazy thing about they found a copy of Peter Rabbit and they take it as the sacred text of the origins of their species.
Funny.
So
That's
awesome.
amazing.
And that they conquered the farmer McGregor or whatever. And so like there's this like whole like kind of like religious faction that doesn't believe in using human things because they defeated the humans and the humans were like keeping them down or whatever. It's like it's very heavy lore stuff and it's pretty crazy.
I'm in.
Yeah, and Urabuchi, he was there too, telling me about some of this stuff, and about 10 to 30 hours, $30,
Okay.
side-scrolling game, PS5 and PC, and then
Hands on Bloodworth?
I know that they were just showing it off to me, so unfortunately I was not able to play it myself. It's coming out September 24th.
Because I don't want another biomutant situation.
No, I don't think this is going to be Biomutant. But it is, like I say, it's a side-scrolling game. And there's a big space elevator that was left behind by humans where he goes and essentially, like, mines for junk and then, like, takes scraps back and, like, gets new things. Like, one of the things he got was, like, a grapple so that, like, you can kind of, like, grapple upwards to platforms above you. And then you've got like a drill that you can drill through blocks to explore. There are main dungeons and random dungeons. And then trying to see. Busted Rose Gin. I don't know them, but if you do, they're doing some of the music. They're another one of the more well-known Japanese artists that they got in on this. And then, sorry, a lot of the notes I have is on the crazy lore stuff. They started out in like there's like a village a little bit there where you can check out some different shops and stuff. It
really reminds me of Fist.
Yeah, they did say this is a Metroidvania style elements in there. They had
even at a diner right here. This is crazy.
yeah.
This is crazy, dude.
They had 4 weapons equipped.
And it's not related to Fist at all.
No.
Okay.
Two combat weapons and then 2 for harvesting. So he had like a katana, a shotgun, a hammer, and a drill. So like the katana and shotgun are more combat focused. The drill and the hammer are more for like getting stuff out of blocks. You could like drill through the blocks. You can hop on blocks to platform. And then what else we got? There's a boss that was like a robotic like excavator with like a grapple arm called Rust Unicorn. There's no fall damage, but there is if you do fall from a long height, there's like a stall mechanic where your movement gets more limited for a certain amount of time.
Break your shins or something. Like
Yeah,
you got a little recovery.
And then there's like some like electrical attack that the boss did that had like kind of like a bullet hell thing going on. He could like teleport behind the boss. And then there's a part where you could actually like bait the boss under these pipes where like boulders were falling out, and that would do damage to them as well. And then it looks like there's a really big skill tree as well. But it's just one of these things, Huber, where because we're just watching it like muted, it has such an entirely different vibe when these characters start talking.
Yeah.
Like the voice acting is doing a lot of heavy lifting in this game because
I
the
bet.
vibes
Kazuma.
just change so much.
Totally.
Because it just looks like some silly little kid's cartoon game, and then you get Kiryu talking. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? This is gruff old man.
Sick. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I want
will-
to see more, and I definitely want to get hands on when the time is right.
I'll play every single Metroidvania you put in front of me. So,
Yeah.
in.
And then wrapping it up for tonight because it's 11 o'clock. Huber,
Yo,
Battle Aces.
dude, Battle Aces.
Oh.
Battle Aces, I promise. Holy shit. I'm a believer.
Yeah?
I'm a believer in Battle Aces.
I feel like you were skeptical when we saw it.
Yeah, and I think chat was too because, you know, real-time strategy games have a ton of strategy and mechanics, and this is very streamlined. Very, you know, when they're saying that, you know, it's like stripped down, it's almost like, okay, is it basic? Like, do I want my RTS to be basic? It's like, when I think about it, no, but when I played it, I was like, this could be something. This game could be something special, I feel like, because
I feel like, yeah, the Chad's saying this too, and during PC Gaming showed that this is what we're showing right now is like,
yeah.
the trailer was set up like a fake, like casted esports event,
Yeah.
which did not play very well. It felt pretty like stilted,
Got
and like they
it.
were like reading from a prompter, but like
Yeah.
and like I don't envy them because I think Huber, what you're saying is like, because even someone in chat was like, oh cool, an RTS with no building and no strategy,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like that is pretty easy to be like, that's how this game comes off, you know. So
Yeah.
it's like, how do you explain this game without having three dudes sit here and explain the game?
Yeah.
You know? But like, yeah, it didn't quite play.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to hear what you think of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really solid because games are like 5 minutes.
Okay.
So remember in the
Oh, wow,
glory,
yeah.
yeah. So like the glory days of Hearthstone
Although that says 8
for a
minutes
while.
right there, but yeah.
It is a 10-minute cap. So
God.
it counts down from 10. So
Yeah.
no game can ever be longer than 10 minutes.
Exactly, and that's so nice. And it's like, I remember when Hearthstone matches were like just so quick. You know, you could hop in for a little match, get in, get out, and they started to like kind of bloat. Like so all of a sudden, Hearthstone matches started taking like 20+ minutes, and then like Marvel Snap came out. And it was like, all right, dude, let's go. Like, so I feel like this is doing something entirely different than Stormgate. Stormgate's going for like your traditional throwback StarCraft style RTS.
Check out our interview that we did at their headquarters.
Check out our
Went up
interview.
today.
Yes, a very fun interview. I really liked that and enjoyed my time with it. But Battle Aces here is 1v1 and 2v2.
Okay.
Thank God 2v2s are
They had
there. That's my
2v2? Okay.
preferred way to
Nice.
to play pretty much all multiplayer games. I love 2v2. When you build an Expo, you just click a button. You need your resources. So there's
Okay.
the red and the blue resource. You get a
Okay,
lot more red than blue. Red you have a
Yeah,
lot of.
seems
Blue
like-
goes a
yeah.
little slower. We require more Vespasian gas. Ha ha ha. Whatever. Okay. So red and blue. And managing that economy, dude, is paramount. It is essential because it's like to build an Expo is like 400. You build that, but then also so like it's just so streamlined. All you have to worry about building your Expos. Click a button. It'll like. Do you see on the bottom of the map the
Yeah.
greens?
Yeah.
When you hover over like I want to build a new Expo, it'll show you where your next one is gonna be placed.
Okay.
You can also only have like 3 Expos, and you're capped off. You're it. That's
Oh.
Is the
okay.
Expo the
it. Your expansion.
your like hub thing?
Yeah, you're-
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you get resources in this one?
It's just
Explain.
automatically
Resources
coming. You have
automatic,
your
okay.
little farming minions there, and
Okay.
they're just doing it
So
automatically.
this is okay.
And
So-
having more bases makes that come faster, I imagine?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you can either expand expand and have other bases, or you can upgrade your tech tree to let you build more powerful units. So you have like 4 tiers of units. So you got to level that up to have access to your strongest ones.
Okay.
So it's really so simple
Yeah.
to learn. It's the, you know, the tried and true, like easy to learn, hard to master. Like this game is going to get insanely competitive. I already know this. The primary strategy, you have a deck. You have a
Okay.
deck of units.
Okay.
There are like 40+ units, I think, in this game they were saying.
Oh.
You can only bring 8 in. You have to choose
so
those
that's where a
the
little bit
8
of the
right there.
strategy is gonna come in.
That's where the unique.
Okay.
That's where your ownership and
All
your
right.
strategy
There's where
will
the
come
meta is
into
gonna
play.
come.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
How are the map sizes compared to other
Intimate.
RTSs you've played? Do you feel it's much
Small,
smaller?
yeah,
Because of the
everything.
lower time, I imagine they cannot be that
Totally.
big. Yeah. Okay.
So, like, the first thing I want to say is if you have never gotten into RTSs, I think this is the one that may help you get into RTSs. Like,
Nice.
try this one out. I truly believe in this game.
Calling me a little bit.
Yeah, I truly believe in it. It's so snappy. Heavy praise to the UI. I love the
So
UI.
simple
It's
looking, yeah.
so clean and crisp. The main menu as well. Like when you're in the game, everything is just so like you know exactly what to do. You know what needs to be done, and then you execute. Also, when you make minions, they don't have to hatch. They don't have to build. Everything is just like boom, minions there. They just
Nice.
pop out. So if you have a ton of money, like one of the units was like 400 red. So I started to have like a lot of red.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, spam those guys. Like get those big tanks out there.
Send 'em out.
Dude, there was a Leviathan enemy, I think it was called. I think it was Leviathan. Maybe my mind just went there. But it's this giant squid-like creature. The yellow is your unit cap. You can only have 200.
Okay.
You have this giant squid-like creature. 80 units to bring it out.
Yeah. Oh, that's a cost. Okay.
Cost 80 units and 3,000 red, 3,000 blue.
Whoa. It's
blue
like your
crosses.
ultimate,
Yeah.
basically.
Dang.
And they said you could only have like 2 at a time if you ever do that. Like it's so rare to have like 2 on the field at once. They're insane.
Do the units auto attack, or do you still direct them where to go?
It's a friendly game. You can turn on focus fire if you want to be able to click who you want to kill and stuff.
Oh.
You can A move. So there's A moving in and they'll just automatically attack.
Okay.
But you can you have a little control over if you want like
You can focus on units.
main control.
Main-
yeah.
yeah, okay.
If focus fire is off, it's pretty much just like you're A moving in.
Gotcha.
You know.
It's interesting that they just give you the interest line
Yeah.
instantly, because you just know where the enemy is right away.
Yeah, exactly. And they can even see like I think if you're like building some things too, they can see there's still fog of war, but like there was some other information they had of like they can see your tech tree, I think, or how far along you are.
Yeah,
in that.
you can see each other's. Yeah,
Yeah. And then shit, there's one last thing I wanted to say, and it just went out of my brain. I'm so sorry.
Was it a unit thing or
I totally forgot.
Leviathan?
2v2?
Totally forgot. It might come, it might not. I'm sorry.
It'll come as soon as I start talking about something else.
Yeah, exactly. So I can go to yeah, I'm super into this game. I'm super in.
is it just PC, or do you think it'll
It's
be
just
phone?
PC for now.
Okay.
All right.
A closed beta, I think, is coming up
Yeah.
in a couple weeks. But yeah, I think this is a really good gateway into this often intense genre.
Yeah.
They're really trying to just streamline this whole thing. The thing I was going to say was, oh, there it is. Okay, I got it. Yes. Okay. So we have the managing your economy is the skill. Picking your deck and building your deck, kind of what units you're going to bring into also. But then there is still a little bit of micro. There is a little bit of micro. Units do have some abilities. So that's also going to escalate the skill big time. The people that can successfully, macro and micro A moving in. There was like an artillery unit where you had to like siege tank style, you had to like deploy it, and it took a second for it to kind of get in there. And then it was long range, it could take things out. And it was like this mechanical unit. But then he was saying what's interesting about that is there's also sniper units, which are squishier, but they outrange the artillery. So there's all these, like, what do they have? There's air units, so you always want to at least have, like, one anti-air unit you bring in.
Hate when they send in
So
air units
it's,
and
I
you don't
know,
got stuff.
Fucking Void Rays, I hate their guts. Yeah, so I am very optimistic about the future of this game. I really liked it. It seriously felt kind of when I first played, maybe not that level, but it kind of felt like when I first played Hearthstone, where I was like, this feels good. Like, this game feels good, and everything is just so clear of what you need to do. Really easy to pick up and play. I imagine, like, sneak a game or two on your lunch break, kind of game.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Dude, you fully turned me around on this thing. I was
It's
ready to
cool.
write it off, but it seems pretty sick.
yeah, when I saw it too, I was like, oh, that's strange. I think too, because I'm so high on Stormgate, because it's like the traditional.
Yeah.
It's the old, like.
And we got a deep dive into it.
We got a deep dive.
Yeah.
I've been like on that hype train. So when this came along and they were like, yeah, it's just way simpler. You don't have to worry about all this stuff. I was like, oh, that seems
Well, and also,
less
like,
interesting. But now it's like, it's almost more interesting.
It didn't help. I don't remember if it was literally right after Stormgate in the PC gaming show, but like they were pretty close,
Yeah.
And like, their art style is not entirely dissimilar.
Yeah.
Right.
So everyone was kind of just like, what is this?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's clearly a very different
we saw
thing.
this earlier
Yeah,
too. at
totally
QBs,
different
yeah.
beast.
You saw Wereblood?
It was on Friday too.
Oh, okay.
Because Hebrew wasn't here for PC.
Oh, right.
we saw it,
Yeah. Yeah, the thing we're showing right now is that PC gaming show.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, really happy. Like, we're getting another RTS. This is crazy. This is awesome, because like RTS is kind of, after StarCraft 2, they've kind of taken like a back
Right.
seat in the mainstream.
it's been like
at least.
it's been too long.
Yeah, and
like,
now we're getting two like potentially mainstream RTSs that are doing very different things. It's very exciting.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Chat, we've got to get through one more day, so we're gonna cut it there. We do have quite a few more things that we saw today to talk about, and then we're seeing some more stuff tomorrow. But before that, tomorrow afternoon, I suppose, Ubisoft is happening like right at noon, I believe. Yeah. So
Come hang
Ubisoft
out. Come watch it with us, chat.
Forward. We're gonna react to that. That'll be the last thing to react to.
Yeah. How can they support us, Bloodworth?
Well, I'm getting there. Yeah, we've got those reactions. Then we're gonna go back on the show floor, and then we'll come back and talk about as much as we can tomorrow. And then we're gonna be shooting more stuff for things that we can't talk about yet.
Yeah.
But if you've been enjoying all of this Summer Game Fest coverage, thank you to all of the people that have been subbing on Twitch. Thank you to everyone that's been giving subs. I've seen some of those people that are like, oh, there's an ad, and then someone will just gift that person a sub. So thank you for that.
Love that.
Jabwab's out there doing work. But you can also support us over the long term by becoming a patron at patreon.com/easyallies. Give us $5 a month there. It's a little bit more effective than doing it through Twitch. And you get to participate in our podcast. We have other tiers where you can vote on things that we stream once a month. We have fan mail that we send out for the super high bidders and all of that. And you get an extended version of our podcast every week as well.
Cut.
Yeah, patreon.com/easyallies. And we will see you in just a little bit over 12 hours. Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Come on.
Oh man.
You
no lightsabers,
Yeah.
baby. Let's
No
go.
lightsabers.
No
Just
lightsabers.
Yeah.
You gotta help me out with some of these bets.
I clicked that by mistake. I accidentally clicked the ending, but just for a second, and then we're back. So you're fine.
You clicked the.
I clicked
yeah.
the ending, but it was an accident. So then I just came back. Nobody saw nothing.
Somebody saw nothing. Okay.
Assassin's Creed.
Thank
Tomorrow.
you. Assassin's Creed in the morning.
Bye. Patreon.com/easyallies. Bye.